And the hits just keep on rolling. After a period of uncertainty, uh, Tulsi Gabbard has finally been confirmed as the director of national intelligence. Like I said, it was a period of uncertainty. There was a hot second there where it looked like she wasn't going to get the votes, but managed to pull it off, even though, Bernie Sanders voted against her. Because, of course he did. It's just funny that she, you know, was the vice chair of the DNC, and then she stepped down because of the way he was treated, and then like he couldn't in any way like back her later. But he's a party politician shill who was probably very upset with her whenever she left the Democrats and joined the Republican Party, even though he himself is an independent technically. But whatever. It just reminds me of the H-1B debate and how rightoids started just like praising him to the moon because he had a decent take about H-1Bs. Immigration is a topic that Bernie Sanders has flip flopped on numerous times over the years, but because he decided to say one good take as a means to dunk on Elon and Trump, right wingers were suddenly like, "Oh, Bernie, so based." And I was one of the few voices out there who was saying, "No, no, he doesn't get any credit. He doesn't get any grace. Fuck this old guy." But yeah, so shout out to Newsweek. Yep, she was confirmed yesterday. So yesterday, as of the recording of this video, yesterday, last night, or this morning. Anyway, I'm sure the article covers it. Anyway, let's carry on. But yeah, no, this is a good. This is a good. This is a this. I've been a fan of Tulsi Gabbard ever since you know 2020 when she absolutely roasted Kamala Harris, just completely destroyed her entire presidential campaign, just wrecked it, and it was a sight to see. And honestly, I've always kind of liked Tulsi Gabbard. She was one of the few like good Democrats, so I've always been a fan of hers. And then whenever she switched parties, which I called that years ago, I said years ago that she was probably going to switch parties to the Republican Party. That the only thing she really seemed to have in common with Democrats is like she's not super crazy about like gun stuff, but she's really kind of just like walked all that back and just doesn't talk about it anymore, which is like probably a good idea. But like she just seemed like such a common sense person that I just didn't see her sticking with the Democrat Party, especially the way the party was going. But anyway, yeah. So here we go. Tulsi Gabbard, President Donald Trump's choice for Director of National Intelligence, was approved in a final U.S. Senate vote on Wednesday. Like I said, that was yesterday, as of this morning. Yep. Newsweek reached out to the White House for comment via email. Why it matters. Oh, Newsweek. Gabbard has faced an uphill battle since being tapped for DNI and was grilled last week by senators on both sides of the aisle for her views on Russia and Syria and whether she believes the former intelligence contractor Edward Snowden was a traitor. He's not. Um, President Donald Trump's cabinet nominees have succeeded so far in being confirmed by the full Senate. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was cleared earlier to face a full floor vote, which could also happen on Wednesday. Um, I don't think it happened yesterday. I think him and Kash Patel are getting voted on today, Thursday morning. Thursday, anyway. What to know? After a 52-48 vote, Gabbard will now oversee and coordinate the work for America's 18 intelligence agencies. Hopefully, between her and Doge, we can reduce that number. We don't need that many. Former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was the only Republican to vote no for Gabbard's confirmation. McConnell, who is serving his seventh term and has not yet disclosed plans to run for re-election, also broke with Trump in voting no for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Yeah, Mitch McConnell makes me ashamed to be a Kentuckian because he's such a clown. Like I really do hope that he does not run for re-election. He shouldn't. He's too damn old and he's freezing up on stage and just he can barely walk, can't answer questions. Like he's like basically Biden levels of mentally compromised, physically compromised. It's just there's no point in him sticking around. Daniel Cameron, run for Senate. Run for Senate. I will vote for you so hard. Big fan of Daniel Cameron. If you don't know who he was the AG of Kentucky for a long time, and he was good at it. I liked him. Senators Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Suzanne Collins of Maine were the other two Republicans who voted against Hegseth's nomination. Initially, Republicans were skeptical of the former Democratic representative and military veteran, due to her past remarks perceived as sympathetic to Russia, a meeting with now deposed Syrian President Bashar Assad, and her previous support for government leaker Edward Snowden. Her connections with Indian Prime Minister uh, Narendra Modi have also been questioned. Yeah, India is an ally state, so God forbid somebody high up in our government has good relations with other world leaders. Like, God forbid, that seems like such a bad thing. Mm. Republicans in the Senate Intelligence Committee had initially announced their concerns around Gabbard's nomination. Collins and Senator Todd Young had been regarded as pivotal Republican swing votes for her DNI confirmation on the committee. Young told Politico that extensive conversations with Vice President J.D. Vance had led to his change of heart. Shout out to J.D. Vance. He's out there putting in work for the Jeets. He's a White House could be smelling like curry. Let's go. Democrats had noted that Gabbard had no experience working for an intelligence agency. No, she doesn't, but it doesn't. No, but she was boots on the ground in the Middle East. She has relationships. Like, come on. They also claim that her past stances on Russia, Syria, and Snowden make her a poor choice. No, it makes her the best choice. Um, Quote, it is an insult to people who have dedicated their lives and put themselves in harm's way to have her confirmed into this position, said Democratic Senator Elisa Slotkin of Michigan, a former CIA analyst. Glowy. Yes, of course you would say that, you fucking glow stick. Gabbard is a lieutenant colonel in the National Guard. The former Hawaii representative was deployed twice to the Middle East and ran for president in 2020 as a Democrat. While GOP resistance has waned, Republicans have been increasingly critical of the office of the Director of National Intelligence, saying it has grown too large and politicized. Trump has long viewed the national intelligence community with skepticism as well. And I would too, considering how badly they fucked with him in his first term. Giving him bad information and lying to him about like how well that was the Pentagon that was lying to him about how many troops we have on the ground, but like our intelligence community and our military kind of joined at the hip. Gabbard has a narrow overall positive favorability rating among Americans, according to a survey conducted by Gallup at the end of January. The survey showing that 28% have a favorable view of the former representative compared to 27% with a negative view. An additional 46% of our respondents said they did not have an opinion on Gabbard. Some people would say that like no opinion is worse than bad opinion. I don't know. I would say having no opinion on somebody is probably better, just because you don't want people shooting from the hip. You want people to like think critically, and it's just like, well, if you don't know much about her, why have an opinion? Members of her religious group say they are concerned about Gabbard and how she was groomed for a political position. I don't know anything about that. Let's In an op-ed for Newsweek, Gabbard said that if confirmed as the Director of National Intelligence, she would do her best to fulfill Trump's mandate from the American people to break the cycle of failure and the weaponization and politicization of the intelligence community, and begin to restore trust in those who have been charged with the critical task of securing our nation. What is this? Tulsi Gabbard described as advanced devotee of alleged cult. Well, the other quote just called it her religious group. They didn't say this was alleged. What the hell? Robin Marshall joined the Science of Identity Foundation when she was 19, calling herself the typical person that gets pulled into a cult. She has seen a poster for a meditation class while living in California, and the group offered Sunday feasts with meditation and chanting. It was all very attractive to me because it was like a family and a call and all caring, Marshall told Newsweek. Then I get to Hawaii and it was a different story. A number of former members have described the foundation as a cult. The group offered the opportunity for woofing or working on a farm for a few hours each day while being hosted and accommodated by the organization. Marshall said once she arrived, she noticed an issue with the group. I heard everybody there at some point got called worthless. Well, come on, let's get to the Tulsi stuff. Um, Marshall and other SIF Marshall and others say SIF is not a typical farming community organization. While people like Marshall were only working for about 4 hours a day, they say they also listened to audio lectures from guru Chris Butler. Marshall said she listened every morning and night as Butler ranted and shared random lessons. He often spoke with people in the room while he was recording. One prominent figure in the group that Marshall highlighted, former Representative Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi was being groomed for a political position because Chris Butler had political aspirations, Marshall said. He wanted the influence. It was very unusual because women in science of identity aren't really encouraged to do anything. No, this is all just alleged BS. I don't care about any of this. Who cares? Oh, so what are people saying, Newsweek? What are people saying? Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso of Wyoming on the floor before the vote said, quote, she has the right background, she has the right experience, she has the right perspective to keep our nation safe and to keep it secure. Her experience handling highly classified information is extensive. Okay. Senate Majority Leader John Thune of South Dakota on the floor prior to the vote, quote, in the case of Ms. Gabbard, different views perhaps about national security matters than those held by a lot of Democrats, certainly here in this chamber and the progressive movement in this country. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York on the floor of the prior vote is, quote, is Ms. Gabbard really who Republicans want leading national intelligence? I'll bet not. Is she the best person we could find for the important position of Director of National Intelligence? Question mark. So what happens next? Also, who gives a shit what Chuck Schumer has to say? Like, who cares? I'm just completely over Democrats at this point. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Trump's nominee for Secretary of Health and Human Services, is the next cabinet pick to be up for a vote in the Senate. So yeah, he's supposed to be voted on today. Oh, and that's it. That's the end of the article. No, it's no. Like I said, this is. I think this is good. I think she's going to do a good job. Like I said, you know, like I said, she's a veteran, so she knows what it's like on the ground, which is important for intelligence, I think, because what the intelligence community tells the president ends up influencing what the Pentagon has our troops doing in various areas around the world. So any information she gets, it'll kind of go through that lens because the troops are the one who bear the brunt. They're the ones who end up, kind of suffering one way or the other. And then again, international relationships. She's been very committed to peace, to not starting new wars, to try to help get us out of old ones. I think it's good. I think she's going to do good. And like I said, I've been a fan of her for a long time. And here on X, we've got this here vidya of her swearing in.
Place your left hand on the Constitution and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I, Tulsi Gabbard, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
that I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Yep. Oh, look at that. Gulf of America, of course, because that's what it is. It's the Gulf of America. And there's Trump looking svelte McMahon's lost a lot of weight. He's clearly very happy with this pick. We love Tulsi. She's great. She's the most intelligent. And I said, why don't we have the most intelligent be the director of national intelligence? Anyway, like I said, this is good. Let's get RFK in there. Who, like, I'm not crazy about RFK, but like if he keeps as like Trump said to Joe, if he keeps his focus just on the whole health thing and he isn't trying to like talk about like oil and like because he's also an environmentalist. If he stays in his lane, I think he'll be good. And yeah. Uh, fuck. Who else was supposed to get? Damn it, I'm blanking. RFK. Oh, and Cash Patel. Let's get Cash Patel confirmed because that's the big one. Assuming that he's not completely full of shit, that's the big one. But yeah, you know the drill at this point. Like the video, comment, follow the links, sub to all my other channels, follow me on X. Come on, algorithm, throw me a bone.